There are cars that turn heads for their beauty. And then there are these. In this video, you'll discover the 15 ugliest cars ever made. Models so strange, disproportionate, or bizarre that they became iconic for all the wrong reasons. Sit back and join us on a journey through the worst nightmares of the automotive world. The Nissan Juke is one of the most controversial crossovers ever. With its bold and unconventional design, it looks like a mix between a frog and a UFO. The split headlights, thin ones placed high on the hood, and the main ones positioned lower, created an unusual visual effect. Its curved lines and compact proportions made it stand out, but not everyone appreciated it. Some loved it for its unique personality, while others found it simply too weird. The Hyundai Staria, launched in 2021, looks like a van straight out of a sci-fi movie. Its front features a full-width LED strip across the hood, while the round headlights, positioned low, give a robotic appearance. The body is smooth and rounded, with no aggressive lines, and the flat rear with vertical taillights looks like a last-minute addition. Strange on the outside, but inside, it's spacious and packed with technology, perfect for those looking for a minivan that stands out from the crowd. A car that defies all logic. The Zundap Janus had doors both front and rear, with seats arranged back to back. This meant that no one ever knew which direction it was going. The design was inspired by scooters of the time, but the result looked more like a refrigerator on wheels. Anyone who has seen Cars 2 will definitely recall a certain resemblance to Professor Zundap, clearly inspired by the Zundap Janus. If Batman had an economy car, it would have been the Bond Bug, with 3 wheels, a wedge shape, and a bright orange color. It looked like it came straight out of a comic book. Access was through lifting the entire roof. Too bad the stability was non-existent. The Chrysler PT Cruiser aimed to capture the charm of cars from the 1930s, but ended up looking like a poorly executed caricature. The rounded lines, vertical grille, and unusual proportions made it instantly recognizable, but also the subject of many critiques. Despite a strong initial commercial success, over time its style became outdated, transforming it from original to bizarre. When Mercedes decided to create a minivan, something went wrong. The Vanio looked like a Class A that had inflated like a balloon, with odd proportions and a design that failed to convince either families or taxi drivers. Reliant Robin, the legendary British three-wheeler, more famous for its rollovers than its performance. With a strange design and only one wheel at the front, it was the perfect car for those seeking thrills. In a negative sense, the Honda Crosstour was a curious experiment, a mix between a sedan and an SUV, but with poorly executed proportions. The front looked like that in Accord, while the raised rear resembled an awkward fastback. The result? A car that didn't appeal to sedan lovers or SUV enthusiasts, quickly fading into obscurity. The Audi A2 was certainly an innovative car, but with design that was hard to digest. Small, light, and featuring an aluminum body, it boasted excellent fuel efficiency. However, its rigid lines and stocky profile made it far from the elegance typically associated with the brand. The Tata Nano was the cheapest car in the world, and it showed. With tiny wheels, oversized headlights, and a minimalist design bordering on cartoonish, it was more practical than beautiful. Designed to make cars accessible to everyone, it ended up being remembered more for its quirky appearance than for its commercial success, which, in fact, never really came. The 1957 Aurora is perhaps one of the strangest cars ever designed. Created with the goal of being the safest car in the world, it ended up looking like an awkward futuristic experiment. The front was huge and disproportionate, with headlights embedded in strange plastic domes. The rounded roof and irregular windows made it look more like a spaceship than a car. Only one prototype was made, as production was never started due to financial issues and technical difficulties. It's no surprise it remained a one-off. It was innovative, but aesthetically, a real disaster. Famous thanks to Breaking Bad, the Pontiac Aztek is one of the most talked about cars of all time. Its design was a mix between an SUV, a spaceship, and a poorly assembled dresser. Strange on the outside, but spacious and practical on the inside. The SsangYong Rodius looks like the result of an experiment gone wrong. A mix between a station wagon, a minivan, and even a luxury yacht, but without the elegance of any of these categories. Its disproportionate design and chaotic lines made it a car hard to forget. The Fiat Multipla is undoubtedly one of the most controversial cars in history. On one hand, it offered surprising interior space, with a roomy cabin and a unique 6-seat configuration for its segment. On the other hand, its exterior design was certainly hard to ignore. The dual-level headlights and stocky front gave it an unmistakable appearance, capable of dividing public opinion. Some praise it for its practicality, while others consider a heresy on 4 wheels. But one thing is certain, the Multipla was never overlooked, becoming one of the most recognizable and debated cars of the past few decades. The Toyota Wavy earns the title of the ugliest car. It's one of the strangest cars ever made by Toyota. The forward-sloping rear and boxy design made it look like a car drawn by a child, produced in a limited edition for the Japanese market. It was part of an experimental marketing project aimed at young people, but its unusual appearance failed to win over the general public. We asked the AI to create images of ugly cars, and this is the result. This was our ranking of the 15 ugliest cars of all time. Which one struck you the most? What do you think of the ugliest cars? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.